Yeah, exactly. Well, we at the International Climate Science Coalition Canada noticed that the city very quietly during the pandemic passed various climate change acts. Okay, this is a city, and the price tag is astonishing. It's $57.4 billion for a city of 1 million people. So that works out to almost $60,000 per person. So in the latter half of last year, we put together a report, and we're not at first challenging the science, because what we're trying to show people is the detrimental impacts of the plan and the fact that it's infeasible. And the hope is, of course, people will look at it and say, man, do we really have to do this? And then, of course, we have another report in the wings ready to come out, which shows, no, you don't have to do it, because humans are not causing dangerous climate change. I mean, 1.2 degree rise in the so-called average temperature in the last 142 years since 1880 is so small that if we didn't have climatologists and meteorologists, we'd never even notice it. So what happened, though, in Ottawa, you see, is back in 2019, before the lockdowns, there was a declaration of climate emergency.
Every time. And once they say that, and they say it's non-binding, and then the big multi-billion-dollar program just follows right behind it.
Well, that's right. And the reason they did this, of course, was because during the council negotiations about this so-called declaration, they had massive protests of environmental activists outside, and no one on our side was protesting or even, objecting in any way. And so this was passed, and the city instructed city staff to actually go ahead and make a plan. So they made two plans. One is called Energy Evolution. The other is called the Climate Change Master Plan. And in that, believe it or not, the city of Ottawa is going to put up 710 industrial wind turbines taller than the Peace Tower. They're going to have 36 square kilometers of solar photovoltaic cells.
Where?
Yeah, well, they want to put the cells on rooftops. But, if you think about it, that's the equivalent of a square 6 kilometers on a side. I mean, that's bigger than the experimental farm here in Ottawa. They want to have massive batteries. They want to have huge increases in all kinds of costs. Okay, typically we're talking about a 40% rise in property tax just to pay for their climate plan. They want to charge $20 to people every single time they drive into the city. Okay, every single time. And, the price tag just goes on and on and on. I mean, it is really crazy. So we wrote this report. We sent it to the city. We put out press releases and everything else, and we got zero response. I mean, they did not even answer and say thank you for, except for auto responses. They didn't even say thanks, we'll read the report, et cetera. And we were quoting some of the world's leading economists and policy experts, some science. There wasn't a lot of science in this particular report. And then most recently, I sent an open letter to the city of Ottawa about 3 months ago, making sure, look, now that the lockdowns are over, take a look at this. I mean, this is really important. Well, really great thing happened. And that is, there was a group of environmentalists who decided to host climate change meetings, and they called it climate justice. Okay. Which of course is ironic, because if you actually increase the cost of electricity by 4 times, you're hurting the poor more than anyone.
Right. Climate justice, where we all pay for the crimes of the rich elites like Al Gore, who get to fly around and have an enormous household, but it's us, the little guy, we have to pay for those crimes.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Justice.
So this group has put on 4 debates. 3 have happened so far. I've gone to them all. And, the thing I'm happy to report, Sheila, is that Ottawans, who are normally, very passive, and, a lot of us work for the government, Ottawans are actually speaking out. And I wanted to show you some examples of this. And it's really kind of a test case to show what citizens can do, and in particular, following Alinsky's rules. Okay, so there's one debate coming up. It's September 28th, a week from today, actually, as the day is broadcast. And it's from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Centertown United Church. So we want as many people as possible to come and to support those brave Ottawans who are prepared to actually speak out and say something. I mean, I'm one of them, but I've been quite impressed to see at the first 3 debates, and I have some samples of video from these debates showing how brave citizens can make a difference. And they can, in one case, drop an atom bomb on the whole debate if they ask the right question. And I'll show you that atom bomb question. It's pretty awesome. So we actually have to look at who's sponsoring, who's running this. Okay, it's a list of generally left-wing groups. It includes groups like Ecology Ottawa and other pro-climate change groups. It's a little bit like having the referees in a hockey game actually on one of the teams.
Right.
Whether and there's already censorship going on, and we'll get onto that. But here's what's going on. This is the first question of a very brave Ottawan, and I'd like you to hear it because it shows, average people can get up and make a noise and make a sound. And so far, typically they'll have 8 or 9 questions from the audience in each case. You're only allowed 45 seconds. And you're not allowed to ever come back with anything, even if they change the topic, which is a bit of a problem. But here's a brave Ottawan. I'll just play it for you for fun.
I'm very concerned, having just come out of the COVID emergency, about the new emergency, the environmental emergency. And I'd just like to know how we came to this conclusion that we're in a state of emergency, when, as far as I understand, the global warming has only gone up by less than 2 degrees in the last many, many years. I also am wondering how Council thinks that Ottawans are going to pay for this new initiative, given that the cost of living has gone up 8% in the last year.
Yeah, now that's a very good question. And it really put them on the hot seat, because right away somebody's asking questions they don't want asked. Of course, they don't want people talking about the cost. We have to save the world, to hell with the cost.
Oh, hey, what you just saw there is a clip from my weekly full-length show, The Gun Show. It airs on Wednesday, but this is the internet. You can watch it whenever you feel like. You just have to become a subscriber to our paywalled premium content. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com to become a member today.